set? Cool.
Yeah.
So playing live with Herbie and hearing everything organically, how does that change, what you're playing each night with?
Well, it can go in many different directions. So, say if, because one of the things that band with Miles and Herbie and all that was the way they took tunes and they just kind of, it, goes in different directions. And it's, like you have the skeleton of what you're playing, point A to point B, but getting from point A to point B might be, you might go like this or go like that or go like that and like that. Right. So playing with him is you always have to have your ears open and always, so something like this is like, it's not premeditated what I'm doing, but I'm just giving you an example of what would happen. So with Cantaloupe, and then we kind of added this with our. And then sometimes not staying on the root of things, we might, when we get into the solo section, instead of going to F, we might go, which is, and then, these are all like substitutions. So we might, instead of like being on the F, we might go like we might take it like a fourth above, or pedaling on like, instead of staying in F, pedaling on C. But we're all like giving each other ideas. So it's really difficult to kind of like say, oh, this is what we're doing.
Right.
When it's all this improvisation and it's all in the moment. So we're kind of playing off of each other, and maybe someone comes up with an idea and plays an idea, and we take that idea and run with it. Mm. And that's kind of the mentality that, that we're doing, with the music. And it's kind of, and he expects that from us. Because I think he said that, at one time he said that Miles never really talked about music. They would talk about cars, boxing, just day-to-day stuff. And it's almost kind of like if he has to discuss the music, then it's, then maybe you shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If he has to explain, if he's over-explaining like what we're trying to do or what we're doing up here, then, maybe you should try to do something else. Because he's not about like giving instructions about like, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like that. He might give suggestions or something like that, but it's all organic and playing off of each other and listening. I think the key is listening, and listening to him, and he's listening to us, and listening to Vinny, Lionel, Terrace. We're just all kind of listening, and each day that we play these tunes are different. So you can't even go in with the mindset of like, well, yesterday we did this. So today we're going to do the same thing.
Right.
So you'll be sadly mistaken if you think that, because he's not thinking that way.
Right.
And if you're thinking that way, then that's not the place for you, you know? So, and he's, you know, I've definitely learned a lot from him from doing that, you know, from playing with him in that, because it's kind of like, it gives you freedom to explore, to take chances on, you know, something normally that you wouldn't do, which is difficult to say, oh, I'm playing bass, and you change and you do this, and it's, you know, it's more to it than that. But, and because someone asked him about, you know, well, what are you thinking about when you're doing these chords and you're doing that? And he's saying, I'm thinking about colors. And that's what we're doing. We're thinking colors and shapes and things like that, you know, beyond what is in front of us as, you know, the song and the music itself.
One thing they don't teach you in music school, thinking red this time, or something like that.
Yeah, but what color is red? I guess that's up to the person. But I guess thinking colors like that, or thinking like you know, feelings and attitudes, and you know, because there are chords or there are things that you can do that sound angry and can sound pretty, and blue is usually cool, and green has, you know, I guess in red it would be like kind of angry or hot.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, you know, playing with him just makes you feel more confident about like taking chances with the music, because he's going to be there to support you, and then you learn how to support him or to support others when you're playing in situations like that.
So then, playing live and feeding off everyone so much, then when you go into the studio, with a lot of these guys, are you doing more live takes? Are you doing more, you know, you play your part and then things get layered over the top of it?
Two examples. So say with Herbie, it would be playing, and each are playing off of each other, and the end result is what happens. You know, it's like, you say if there were like 5 minutes of recording, and what happens from here to here is totally improv, you know, probably no punching in. It's just like an, you know, organic thing. I keep using the word organic, but that's what it is. And unless there's some specific lines and stuff like that have to be played, because it's not necessarily about, you know, depending on the tune, it's not like you're not playing to a click and you're not trying to, you know, match up with certain things, because you're matching up with them as you match up, as, you know, as you hear it, and you guys, you know, it's like having a conversation. So basically, we're having a conversation with each other for 5 minutes, and that's the end result. Now, say with Daft Punk, we had the form of the tune, and basically this is the form, and they just asked us to play. So Omar and I, we played. They ran the click, and we played. And then, you know, have the click going, and we're playing. They give us a certain idea of what to do, but we're playing off of that idea and giving our own interpretations of the idea. We could play it straight. You know, it's like, okay, this time play it straight. So you play it straight. This time a little more feeling. You do that. This time just go for it. So with that, with the tune Giorgio that I did with them, that basically is what happened. If you listen to the track, from the beginning to the end is what we played. And we just kind of, and I was thinking as we were recording, I was like, they're not going to keep any of this. They're not keeping this. Right. You know, but we're kind of going for it and jamming and doing whatever we feel in the moment, and it ends up in the track, you know? It's, you know, it's a part of the track, but, you know, we're improvising over what they, you know, gave us as guideline. And it's a lot of, which would be different with like a Herbie recording, you know. With Daft, it's kind of like they're cutting and pasting and different ideas with a lot of the tunes. But that one, South Georgia was kind of all the way through, but and then it could be like laying the drums down, and then I play the bass part with the drums to lock up with. You're thinking in a different way. You're thinking more kind of like a popish kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything has to kind of line up and feel good, and as opposed to with something like with Herbie, you have tunes that are locked up, but also you have tunes that are kind of floating and moving around, and that's like, it's still in time and still together, but
it's a totally different feel.
Totally different feel. It's not like you could, put a click to it and unless you're playing with a click.
Right.
Yeah.